Hey there. Kind of cool, huh? Been working on that for a few days, and I'm going to tell you a long story about it in just a second. I'm sure you recognize it. There's a part that goes on a little bit later that's even cooler. Let's see what happens there. Can't stop now, I guess no. Anyway, I sort of got sidetracked this week working on something. Well, now I got to tell you the whole story. Wait, it's Friday, July 31st. We're at the end of the month. Last day here. 7 months in to one of the strangest years. Well, certainly the strangest years in most of our lifetimes. But anyway, I have a relative that does a morning show. I don't think I've ever told you guys about this, but that does a morning radio show on KTUH in Honolulu. It's on at 6 o'clock their time, Sunday morning, 9 o'clock our time, and noon on the East Coast. Last year at this time, we were listening to him in Europe at either in Greece or I think we were back in Amsterdam listening to John's show. And he plays a really interesting set of stuff. Generally, like off-the-wall covers of things that you'd recognize. Like you'd hear a Fleetwood Mac song, but it's not them. Like it could be like a solo guitar version, which brings me to the point here. A few weeks ago, I heard a solo version of a Steely Dan song played on just like solo electric guitar. One guy that sounded like three. And I kind of made a little mental note of it. I thought, I got to track that down because that's really cool. And the next week, heard another one, different song. And so I thought, oh, I got to track this down. The guy's name was Bob McAlpine. And Bob is based in Toronto and had played in a lot of Steely Dan, or some Steely Dan like cover bands, so he knew the stuff really well. And very accomplished guitar player. So I tracked him down. I thought, I gotta find out more about this guy. If he's got music to any of those songs, and I wanted to get the album. So what I'm doing right here, I'm pushing an album by somebody I have just recently got to know a little bit, named Bob McAlpine. The album is called Only a Fool Would Play That. Very clever. And it's like a dozen Steely Dan tunes, including what I was just messing with there. He sent me music to this. He's got them all written out in like normal notation. And so that was it. We got Deacon blues here. Just these opening chords are so cool. What's the next one? Anyway, and so for the last few days I've been messing with that, thinking, I'm going to have to I got to learn another one to go along with Josie. Now, again, I can't take really any credit for Deacon Blues and only a little for Josie for changing a few things that I got out of Pete Hutlinger's arrangement. Okay, I'm rambling on too much about this, but I'm recommending you guys go to iTunes or CD Baby and check out Bob McAlpine. Only a fool would play that. Anyway, yeah, it got me. I guess that puts me in the fool category because here I am trying to play Bob's tune. So let's see what the main thing. Oh, coming up, we'll review a little bit of what happened this week. I just have to, but I'm going to take a break and go practice this again a little bit more because there's something else really cool that happens in the song. I think I skipped it. Let me see. When we get into the second verse. Oh, a different fill. But I messed up again. Okay, never mind. I will come back and recap the last week of July, and we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on the forum. Some really interesting things there that I have a lot to say about. Nah, I always say too much. And then we'll talk a little bit about next week. So, coming up, just around the corner. Yeah, a few weeks ago I kind of got back on. I got to thank Neil for putting up a video a long time ago, like a couple months, 5 or 6 weeks ago, of him playing. And that is an upcoming lesson. I hope to get to that next week, but I'm not sure if it's gonna. It might not fit quite into the queue just yet. But it has gotten me on the bandwagon of playing tunes off my album called Beatles Collection. And I thought, okay, well, since I already had Here, There, and Everywhere from last week, and Here, There, and Everywhere medleys into And I Love Her, better get that in there. So that was one of the lessons that came out this week, which also led to something that has kind of escaped my radar for a while too, is like putting together some packs of like 5 Fingerpicking Beatles songs. So we do have the Fingerpicking Beatles Volume 1 complete now with the addition of And I Love Her to go along with Here, There, and Everywhere and While My Guitar Gently Weeps and not If I Fell. Oh, what else is in there? Well, I can't remember now. But 2 other, In My Life, yeah, and Your Mother Should Know. That's it. That's the 5. Your Mother Should Know, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, etc., etc. The other ones I just mentioned. So I'm going to try to, maybe weekly, put out one more Beatles arrangement, and I think I teased you with this one a while ago too. But I've been having a lot of fun kind of revisiting my past and childhood. What else did we have? We had 1 for the money, 2 for the show. We had a little Blue Suede Shoes from Max. And then Vanessa brought us a Keane tune called Can't Stop Now that also led to a Keane 5-pack that came out this week. So 2 new packs, Keane and Fingerpicking Beatles Volume 1, a few new songs, and I think that's it for the week of the 31st. Oh, I guess I could announce this here because this is sort of a couple of new forum features, which will lead me into talking about the forum in just a minute. And that is, one is there's a Google search now in there. And it's really cool because I thought, well, which means it'll keep you on our page if you want to go fact check something that seems to be really important nowadays. So I was this morning, I had the music on. It was Super Session 1960. I think it came out in 69, but it was recorded in 68, I think. That was an album put together by Al Cooper after he just not so much disbanded but left the band he had just formed out of the New York gang, and he formed this band called Blood, Sweat, and Tears that he left immediately. They made one album with some great songs. It was called Child is Father to the Man. I Love You More Than You'll Ever Know was the kind of the anchor song from it. But anyway, and so he recruited his friend. He was just wanted to do some other stuff. Recruited a friend of his, Mike Bloomfield from Electric Flag, to come in the studio and play some stuff. And it was just going to be kind of a jam session. So they booked a studio for a couple of days. This is getting back to the Google story, I hope. Might not. I might wander off too far. But the gist of this story is I was listening to that album today. Steve Stills sat in the second day because Bloomfield didn't show up. So Al got Stills to come in, and they did a great version of Season of the Witch, like an 11-minute version. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. And you can certainly hear Stills. And boy, the difference on the two sides of the record, nowadays it's the first 4 songs are side 1 and the other 4 side 2. But Bloomfield and Stills never played together on this album. But it's so different. As soon as you listen to the first song called, I think, Albert's Shuffle or something, and you see Stills is on these things, that's not Stills. He never plays like that. Well, it's Mike Bloomfield. And then when you hear the wah-wah guitar come in like Season of the Witch or the song before it, you say, that's not Bloomfield. It's Stills. Anyway, so the point of this story was I thought, well, just as a test, I'll type in. I wanted to do a little more research on the album because I had it playing this morning while I was working in the yard. Slow down. Just calm down. Okay, I'm better now. So I just typed in Super Session up there on the forum page and hit the little magnifying glass, and all the stuff that I would have found in Google came up right there on the forum page. So pretty cool. So you can, like I said, you can check facts that somebody might have put in a forum post that you're not sure are really true. And then the other thing that's kind of cool is there's this, Jamila just put a couple of posts up, one about simple mentions. You got to explore that and see what it means. But I've been notified a few times already with this. So there's some cool stuff happening on the forum. Speaking of which, that's it for this segment. I will talk more about some of the things that I saw on the forum here in a minute. Hey, well, I noticed a few people jumped in in the please introduce yourself category. Mike was one of them, and I want to welcome new people to the site who are just discovering, how some of the things work here at Totally Guitars. But there have been some great recommend a lesson threads. I think James might have been one who put a very long laundry list of some great songs, some of which I've been considering, on and off over years. Some of which I was not familiar with at all. So that's really cool. Oh, the one thing I really would recommend is when you put something in there on the forum, in the recommend list, and if you can put a link in there to the YouTube video, that would be really helpful, because then we could watch it right there. Walt, congratulations, by the way, on pinning down last week's example of what was the connection between the Fair tune, She Moved Through the Fair, and Jimmy Page. Well, once again, it's the Jimmy Page story of I can almost play that, almost as good as him, but that must mean it's my own song. So, of course, he ran off with Davy Graham's arrangement of She Moved Through the Fair, which, if you just listen to Davy's, it's kind of hard to follow the melody. And so that's why I recently put something else up in there, Sandy Denny's version, her vocal version of doing it with Richard Thompson and Fairport Convention. So because you really have to have an idea of the melody to the song, because Davy does so much improvising. It's basically in the key of D. It's a Mixolydian thing. So if I want to improvise in D Mixolydian, oh man, getting way off on the topic. First I would have a D in the bass. And then I would probably tune my, I'd go into Dad-Gad tuning, which is what Davy did. But so to improvise in D Mixolydian, all I have to do is play notes out of the key of D on the I'm using the G string here, kind of like as my the equivalent of the chanter, like on a bagpipe, where you really only got one horn, one pipe that changes pitches. All the rest of them drone like this. I've got a D and an A and a D, and now I'm using the G string to play notes out of a D mixolydian scale. My D would be up here. It would be D, E, F sharp, C natural, and get a really bluesy sound by bending the F. Okay, enough Celtic musings from last week's pack. Okay, that's the end of that story, but I think but I do have to tell you another piece of that story that I'm sure you're familiar with. Black Mountainside, another example. Oh no, I'm not going to play Black Mountainside. Another example of Jimmy Page not being able to play Bert Jansch's version of Black Waterside, but coming up close enough to make his own tune. So royalties are a lot better on originals than on arrangements. Got to remember that. Let's see. I like the request for more Blaze Foley songs was kind of cool. I was surprised when you mentioned, or that somebody mentioned, I think it was the same one that had a lot of requests in there for lessons that I'd never done, If Not For You. Nothing like that. No, it has to be the fifth. Never mind, it's going to be something different. Never mind. Okay, get back on track. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about I think that's it. Request for Brandy. I got to think about that because that is such a goofy song. Boy, I'm going to have to go listen to it. Why do I put everything in G? I don't know. Okay, I think that's most of the stuff I wanted to mention of things that were going on. Oh, and I really did appreciate the comment of how, I think it was all in the same post, that from a little bit of time spent at our site, what did it say, 5 months. Picked up more in the last 5 months at TG than in 20 years of floating around the universe, the musical universe. So, welcome to everybody who has just been checking out the forum for the first time, and definitely stay in touch there and really load up on the recommend a lesson stuff, because like I said, I'm running out. We've done every song in the history of the universe, except She Moved Through the Fair and White Summer and Black Waterside. Well, okay, so there's a couple still out there floating around. But upload some videos, and the Beatles pack. I forgot to mention that anybody that picks up the Beatles pack will get a voucher to download my whole Beatles album. I did mention I'd like to send some of these out to people, but it's a bit of a hassle to send them to Europe, because it requires a trip to the post office and signing all kinds of documents. So I'm still working on that, though, of ways to help alleviate the backlog here. Okay, enough rambling about this. Hints about next week in just a minute. Well, this week, the thing I'm going to talk about in just a second is usually played with a capo at the third fret, sometimes at the second. But every time I put a capo at the third, I think about songs like more Davy Graham connections, or oh man, here's another one. Oh boy. actually be in that key. Somehow okay, that's today's mystery song of the week. I know, Walt, I know you got it. Don't even bother. Everybody our age will recognize that from an album that I do in the past have played a song from. Okay, why I'm here at the third fret though is because, well, I'm going to save the best for last, because I'm really excited about that song. That what we do have coming next week is Vanessa's bringing us another song from Roxette. So that, again, somebody I have not been so familiar with, but she was a big fan of. So Must Have Been Love, it's called. Max is bringing us another Elvis tune, a later phase Elvis tune, one I remember from like AM radio in the 1968, Caught in a Trap. Anyway, Suspicious Minds. So we got a lesson coming up on Suspicious Minds. And then we have a couple of interesting packs. We've gotten a lot of requests for coming up with some things that we've had available in certain spots, but never just strictly here at TG. So we do have a pack that we put together a long time ago for a different market kind of that we're now bringing into TG, Prince Revealed. So it's a whole bunch of cool stuff, cool songs of Prince's. And then it's been a while since we've hoisted or thrown some theory at you. So we have a fretboard fundamentals and kind of theory smorgasbord course coming up. So more about that next week as they get out. But the song that I was excited about finally getting to was one that popped up on the recommend a lesson list a little while ago. And I started thinking, every time I play something of Ian Anderson, again, as most of you know, somebody I have a lot of respect for and admiration. I mean, he's just fabulous. And if you haven't seen the Dan Rather big interview with him, see if you can track that down. Dan does a show on Access TV. And, every time Ian Anderson talks, there's cool stuff to listen to. Intricate picking. This is going to drive some of you nuts who want to work on complicated flat picking. This is of course Dun Ringil from Stormwatch. Great album, man. There were tunes on there: Orion, North Sea Oil. Anyway, I can picture it, and a really scary picture looked like fought like Zeus or something. It's really kind of cool cover, but. This request from a few weeks ago made me think, it's a great kind of beginning Ian Anderson song. Now, I say that doesn't mean it's anywhere near easy, but it is there are not a whole lot of different things in it. It's got cross-picking in the beginning, and then straight picking alternate picking in 6/8 time, switches back. So to practice it slowly, you'll be well on your way to being able to do some of his more pyrotechnic type picking. But so that's it. That's the big news for next week. Dun Ringil is coming out, and I think that's all I had to talk about today. So let's see. Oh, now we're out of tune. Okay, I think that's it for today. I got to get to processing this and getting it out into your little computers, and I hope everybody has a good welcome to August. Hopefully things will be clearing up in the next, not looking good, but I'll be back next week.